Testing, testing, testing. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, I'm your host, Matt Morgan, and you're listening to Car Musings. How's everybody doing today? It's not my usual time slot, just so you know. Just so you know. But hey, I want to thank you very much for tuning in to today's Car Musings. As I said, I'm your host, Matt Morgan, and before I get started, please check out themadmorgan.com for more information on all our shows, resources, and everything else. Themadmorgan.com. I know I mentioned this in an earlier episode. Hey, by the way, I know some people are like, I really got to crank the volume. I've been getting some feedback on that one. Eventually, I will do something about that. I will give you a warning episode beforehand, but for now, I'm leaving things raw and uncut like I promised from the beginning. But yeah, probably we'll figure out something a little more professional as momentum builds and I get more sponsors or support or donations, whatever. So anyways, how's your integrity today? How is everybody doing today? Myself, it's a hot one. It's actually the end of July 25, and yeah, it's a warm one out here today. Going through a little bit of a heat wave. But today, I'm doing a quick little jolt to go get my daughter, and I was thinking to myself earlier on today, for today, I want to talk about this, and here's today's title for today's episode is, Rules Are Not Suggestions. Yes, let's try this again to sink it in for the slow people in the audience. Rules are not suggestions. Yes, that is today's title. That's what we're talking about. Oh, and also, I have the AC on, so if you hear a lot of background, I do apologize, but it is damn warm out. As I said, we're going through a little bit of a heat wave, so, because of that, being as incredibly warm as it is, the AC is on. So, if you hear the extra noise, my apologies on that one, but I am not about to be fried up in this SOB. So, what was the motivation, of course, for this? And I mean, obviously, it goes hand in hand with previous episodes, without saying. People just figure that, rules don't apply to them, that they could just make up their own rules. The sign says don't do this. Or, I love it, oh, I didn't see the sign. Okay, so I love this one. I see this a lot in Quebec. There's signs. Now, there used to be this thing, people were like, you cannot turn right in Quebec on a red light. Well, let's be honest, that was actually truthful in parts of Montreal, or the outskirts of Montreal. There were sections that you could not do so. But, as far as the rest of Quebec goes, it was pretty open. Unless it was posted, just everybody had this notion that you couldn't do that. You couldn't turn right on a red light. So what they started doing, basically clarify for people that were confused, because yeah, it was known in parts of Montreal, as I mentioned, and other parts of Quebec, but not everywhere. What they started doing is they actually started putting a sign by the actual lights. The lights, that thing that actually tells you stuff, like you can go or not go or slow down. That thing, yeah, that thing there. Well, they started putting signs that basically have a picture of the light and actually say you cannot turn right. And I have watched so much ignorance with this, it's unbelievable. I have had this, I hate to say if she's a mother, but I've actually had this woman give a hard time to the driver in front of them for not turning right. Although the sign specifically says, don't turn right, she was yelling at them to turn right. It was like, lady, look at the sign. It says no right turns. It's not a suggestion. Just like a lot of other things, folks. Rules are there for a reason. Rules are not there to make your life difficult. No matter how inconvenient they are, the reason for the rules, just like the reason for warnings, and just like the reasons for laws, is the fact is that some idiot was highly irresponsible and decided that They wanted to do whatever they wanted to do, which obviously caused problems for other people. If not fatalities, if not injuries, if not something along those lines. But obviously, it was enough that, lo and behold, somebody said, no, we got to make a rule that says that can't be done. Because, that's obviously dangerous. So, they made a rule, and it's called a law. But we're going to call it rules, although laws are rules. Warnings are technically rules. So, they're just rules. So, rules are not suggestions. They are not selective for you to decide whether or not you want to choose to follow those rules. They are there for a reason. They are not subject to interpretation. They are not subject to whether or not you can do it and nobody else has to, or vice versa. If you break a rule, there should be a punishment. This goes with all walks of life, my friends. All walks of life. It's not subjected to your interpretation or how you're feeling that day. All right? It's not subject to that. It is there for a reason. Namely, it's there because somebody obviously did something they shouldn't be doing and screwed up something or hurt somebody or somebody got injured. And that was basically it. So, for those people, and I like to pick on the drivers, of course, that don't know how to drive, then I'm going to write a book on this, how to frickin' drive your car, because some people are just idiots. And, they don't clue in as to how to do things. Rules of the road, so to speak, right? So, because of that, there's laws placed and everything else, and blah, 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 blah. Now, let me tell you what ends up happening when you're one of those wonderful people that figures the rules don't apply to you. Well, people look at you like you're a fucking moron. They really do. I hate to break it to you. I don't know who you're trying to impress or what reality you think that things don't end up that way. But the reality is that people look at you like you're a fucking moron. Not like you're a rebel, not like you're cool, not like you're just so amazing. They look at you like you're a fucking idiot. They really do. Like, you start doing stuff like that and you don't correct yourself. Okay, I admit not everybody's perfect. Well, speak for yourself. I'm close to being perfect, but people aren't perfect, and they will miss once or twice. Okay, once or twice in a little while, that's fine. It happens, right? Sometimes something else is on your mind, whatever the case may be. But if your success is like 98% of always following the rules, doing what you should be doing the right thing, integrity, blah, great. That's enough. That's enough to basically put you in that category of, yeah, you're a civilized, classy, you are like the cat's meow friggin' of people. You're doing the right thing. You're up there, right? That should put you in the hero status. But if your track record is 50%, if not less, wow, you really should get your priorities straight in life. And if you're fucking up and you're not straightening up, and you're in places that are completely foreign to you because you're from some other stupid place in the world that doesn't have any civilization or common sense or education or, a million and one other excuses that people use, okay, fine. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of a mulligan, so to speak. I'll give you a little bit of fine understanding, but straighten up. Like, if you come to Canada, we have a way of doing things. If you go to the States, North America has a way of doing things, a certain way of driving, right? Signaling is required. You don't speed, you don't swerve in and out of traffic, you don't get aggressive, you don't bully other drivers, you stay in your lane, you stay between the lines. I mean, I could go on and on and on about violations that I see every single day when it comes to fucking drivers. And it's like, if you can't drive, get off the road. Just park the car, never drive again. If you're not going to smarten up and you're not going to do things right, get away from driving. Because you shouldn't be driving, and driving is a privilege. So that's one thing I want you to keep in mind. Driving is a privilege. It's not a right. It is something that actually has a point system, actually has a system that keeps track of these things, and if you can't do it, don't do it. Because you're putting other people's lives at risk. You look like a friggin' idiot. You're completely hurting the zen and flow of things. You're not contributing. You're actually harming the matter of society. It's like rules. You're not entitled to make the rules. You're not entitled to do whatever the hell you want. The rules are there for a reason. Just like warnings and laws are there for a reason. It's not up to you to decide which ones you want to follow and not follow. This is something that's a blanketed thing across the board. This is something that is... Yay! He learned how to fucking use the signal. Excuse my language. It is something that's across the board. It's not subject to, oh, well, today I'm going to follow the rules like everybody else. Oh, tomorrow I'm not going to. It doesn't work that way. It's either you do or you don't. But if you don't, get the hell out. Right? You shouldn't be on the road if you're going to break the rules. Right? That's just simply the way it should be. Simple as that. You don't follow the rules of the road, then get off the road. That's as far as it comes down to. It's like if you don't follow the rules in any situation, you shouldn't be allowed to be in that society. You shouldn't be allowed to be part of a civilization or a civilized society if you can't do your part to follow the rules that everybody else is. That is kind of the way it's supposed to work. Okay? That's why it's called civilization, because people are supposed to be civilized. Look up civilized. Google it. Look up civilized in the dictionary. It's structure, order. It's people being peaceful. It's people actually doing what everybody should do collectively. I mean, we're not talking about, the collective like the Borg, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have a collective like the Borg, to tell you the truth. Because maybe, if we had a collective like the Borg, people would get their heads out of their asses and do what they're supposed to. I don't know. Anyways, rules. They're not suggestions, folks. Get on board. Get on board. That's all you gotta do. It's very simple. It's common sense. Oh, wait, hang on. Whoa. What's this common sense you speak of? Well, common sense is what happens when you get your head out of your ass, logically think about something for 1 second, and then say, wait a second. No, that's not the way to do things. I should be doing it this because this is the only one that makes sense. A plus B equals C, my folks. That's basically it. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Just think about it for 1 second. All right? Think about the actions of which you're doing. Try to have a little bit of patience. Try to think about whether or not what you're doing actually does make sense or not make sense. It's a very, very simple process to think to yourself. Oh, it's a red light. I should stop. Don't listen to that little troll voice in the back of your freaking head that says, oh, no, we should speed up and make the light. Well, if you get a ticket, don't make a petition. Like friggin' Brampton, Ontario is a fucking cesspool now because they're petitioning speed cameras and everything else. Well, it's a friggin' cesspool of a friggin' place to live. It's like friggin' turning into a complete mess of a location to actually even want to live in. Oh my God, have you seen some of the shit that comes out of Brampton, Ontario? It's friggin' a third world country out there. It's pathetic. So, logically think about it. Let me put it to you in a kid's kind of fashion. Maybe you could wrap your head around this a little better. The actions of which you're doing, and you're victimizing somebody else or whatever the case may be, would you want that to happen to you? This is how I want you put it through that friggin' noggin of yourself. through that thick skull of your head. I want you to think about that for 1 second. So if you are going to do something, a certain action, a bad action, think to yourself, what if I was the receiving end of that? Would I want that to happen to me? First and foremost. Okay? That's the first thing you got to think about. The action I'm about to do, would I want to be, like, what I'm going to do to somebody else, would I want that to be on the receiving end? Number two, do you consider yourself like a fucking sheep, or do you consider yourself somebody that stands and makes your own decisions and everything else? Because if you fall into the mob mentality, following the pack, so to speak, then technically you're a sheep and you're somebody's bitch. I'm going to put it in layman's terms for some of you really slow Neanderthal people. Yes, you are somebody's bitch technically. If you follow the pack, what everybody else is doing in order to fit in and be accepted, if you victimize somebody, if you steal, if you do any of that, technically you're somebody's bitch. You are basically following somebody else's lead to to do what you're doing. Like, you really have to think about that for 1 second. Yes, you become somebody's bitch, falling in that whole mob mentality. So, realistically, that's something you might want to reconsider. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, get your fucking head out of your ass and really think about that for 1 second. So rules, yeah. Don't hurt anybody. Don't break the law. Don't friggin' steal. Don't friggin' do any of that shit. Laws and rules, they're not suggestions. Rules are rules. Laws are still rules. Warnings and labels are still rules. They're not suggestions. They're not up to you to decide. They are for the society and the governments and the powers that be that decide that stuff. It's not up to you. If you break the rules, don't cry racism. Don't cry, oh, you're being biased. Don't cry, oh, you're being unfair. Don't cry any of that crap. Because that doesn't work. The rules are there. They're not selective. You can't cry shit because everybody's supposed to be following them. And you think that your shit don't stink and you're so special and you should be able to do whatever the hell you want? I don't think so. That's not the way it works. If you follow the rules, you should get privilege. If you don't follow the rules, you should be punished. That's how a civilized society works. So, for those of you that are screaming, oh, I can do whatever I want, down in the government, nobody's going to control me, blah, blah, blah. If you end up in a 4x8 cell, fuck, you know what? You deserve it. Either that or a friggin' pine box in the ground. Let me tell you, my friends. Because society doesn't need you. Society doesn't need you causing more problems, right? We're all going to fucking hell in a handbasket at this point, and frankly, I just don't want it. This is not the parallel universe that I signed up for. Okay? This is not the society I signed up for. So, I want you to really think about your stupid ways of thinking. I want you to really think about your decisions that you make on a regular basis every single day. And I want you to actually ask yourself, man, do I have the mental dexterity to be able to follow simple fucking rules? That's the question you should be asking yourself. It's not that hard. If you're going to be a sheep, at least be a sheep to the rules. It doesn't make you somebody's bitch. It just makes you a respectable, classy, worthwhile citizen to be a member of society. That's all it does. You know, fit in with the rest of the cool people. Fit in with the people that make a difference in this world. Fit in with the people that have a future. Fit in with that if you're going to do anything. Fit in with those situations. Don't fit in with the bad elements and the thugs, because honestly, it might look good in a video or in a friggin' movie, but it's not reality when it comes to the rest of it. So you really have to make better decisions. Follow the rules, you'll get further ahead. That's all I'm saying. Anyways. Alright, my friends. I'm not going to say, I mean, a lot of my episodes go a little over time, and I usually try to keep these about 20 minutes. So, I'm just going to say, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. You're listening to Car Musings. I'm your host, Matt Morgan. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Love you for it. You know what? Keep your integrity in check. And if you don't know something, research it, learn from it. Just be a better person, for fuck's sakes. Like, rules are not that hard. And like I keep talking about with the domino effect, if you set the example, other people will fall in line. Next generations will be better. We will move forward to an ideal world where we all get along peacefully in harmony. Like, I know Firefly dictated it a different way, how it didn't work out, but I think if we have a world of peace and cooperation, we could have closer to the Star Trek reality than we can in any other situation. Okay? I think we can make that happen. At least some level of civility, that there's no wars, no anger, no hurt, no theft, no being scared in this world. And it starts with simple things like, oh, I don't know, following the frickin' rules. Let's start with that and domino effect that. All right? Let's do it. Come on. You got it in you. I know you can do it. I believe in you. I'm your host, Matt Morgan. Thank you again for tuning in to today's episode of Car Musings. I'll see you next episode. Love y'all. Remember, themadmorgan.com. Check it out. Check it out. Share it. Tell people about us. Thank you. I will see you next episode.